what I ate every day to fix my skinny fat physique. Now, this doesn't mean you have to eat the exact same thing, but this will show you the exact system that I use to lose body fat and gain muscle. Now, I call this hybrid tracking because the problem isn't knowing what to eat or having low willpower. The problem is being too restrictive that you fall off at any sign of resistance, or being too flexible that you get a lot of decision fatigue and end up just not bothering altogether. Now, the fitness industry is absolutely full of different diets and they're all going to be extremely conflicting. And the reality is 90% of them is probably just not going to work for you, especially if you're skinny fat. In fact, it's probably going to do more damage than good. Diets like keto, carnivore, if it fits your macros, whole foods only, fasting, eat butter with your freaking cereal, or show your bum hole to the sun in the morning. Like, the thing is, I'm not even exaggerating. That's how silly things get these days. But all this overwhelm can make things very confusing, cause you to fall off. And ironically, that's how most men end up skinny fat in the first place. Now, what I'm going to show you is pretty much the same strategy that I've used with over 215 transformations of clients of mine that have fixed skinny fat by losing body fat and gaining muscle naturally. No gimmicks, no silliness, and they're still able to live a normal life. But there's levels to it, so let's break it down. Now, just before I break down the exact meals that I eat to lose body fat and keep muscle, none of this will work unless your calories are set up properly. So I have provided a free nutritional blueprint so you can work out your numbers so you can fit your foods around these numbers. Go and grab that, because if those numbers aren't right, nothing's right. Now, diet-wise, there is no one size fits all, and there is no only way to do it. There'll be periods of your life when you want to go all in and lose the body fat, and there'll be periods of your life when you need to be more relaxed and more flexible, and there might be periods of your life when you want to go on a bulk and gain some muscle, right? So how I eat these meals is not how I do it forever, but this is what I do when I need to get lean, keep muscle, but still not go absolutely insane. So I'm going to break down the meals I eat, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly why that works and how you can make this work for you as well. Now, bonus meal. My first meal is quite literally nothing. De nada. Niti pois, nothing, okay? I fast in the morning. I know, I hate saying the word fast because it makes it sound gimmicky and magical and, oh, you've got to get starvation mode, bro. No, if you fast, all that does is just shorten the window of time you eat, right? So if you got breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and then the binge, and you take out one of those, it's just going to lower your daily total calories. If I wake up in the morning first thing and smash a croissant or 2 or 7, then I'm going to be hungry pretty soon after that, and I've already broken the seal. So I personally like to wake up, grab a brush and add a little makeup, leave my keys upon the table because I want to. If you get that reference, hit a like and you're a legend. If you don't get the reference, you probably think I'm insane. Anyway, let's get to the video. I'll drink water first thing in the morning because hydration is key, obviously. And then I will have myself a lovely coffee. And if you drink coffee, comment down below which coffee you have. I like a cappuccino, but in the mornings, it's just black coffee with a dribble of milk. So I drink coffee. This just is, it doesn't do anything magical, okay? It's just I have water and coffee because it delays my appetite until later on. When I get very hungry, my first meal is going to be one of 2 options. If I'm in a savory mood, it's going to be an omelette. So 3 to 4 eggs, spray 1 calorie oil. I'm going to put chopped peppers, maybe some low-fat cheese in there if I'm feeling a bit salty, quite often with some hot sauce. That is meal number 1 if I'm in a savory mood. And if I can't be bothered to do an omelette, I'll do scrambled. Either way, it's up to you how you prepare your eggs, but that's how I have it. That's the savory option. It's great because eggs are high quality protein, bioavailable, meaning your body absorbs them. They're quite versatile, and they've got healthy fats, vitamin B, zinc, vitamin D, all that good stuff. Just a great old meal. That's the savory option. Or if I cannot be bothered, or I don't have time, or I don't fancy anything savory, it will be a 0% fat Greek yogurt with some blueberries and a 15-gram drizzle of honey. Now, the reason these 2 breakfasts are my first go-tos is that they're both relatively easy to make. I do enjoy both of them, and they both have a similar amount of protein. 4 eggs, depending on the size, it's going to be anywhere between 20 to 30 grams of protein. And with the Greek yogurt, I have normally 250 grams, which is about 25 grams of protein. So it's roughly about the same. Obviously, it's going to be more fat in the eggs, but the bottom line is the calories and the protein are roughly the same for the first meal. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to go, I actually fancy a croissant, or I want to fry up. Those are my 2 options. No decision fatigue. Wake up, grab and go. Done. Now, if you don't like eggs, or you're vegan and vegetarian, you can use the soy protein yogurts. They still do a very similar job with very similar macros. But I'm just telling you exactly what I have to make things simple and easy. So that's meal number 1, and that's quite often paired with more water and another coffee. Then meal 2, quite boringly, is normally a protein shake. Now, I know people in the comments might be like, oh, no, don't, the protein industry's warped your mind, bro. Oh, eat food, da, da, da. Yeah, you are. You're absolutely right, 100%. But most protein powder is just milk, right? Or the pre-made ones that are in there. Yeah, some of them have sugar, but it's just a quick, convenient, sweet, tasty treat, easy peasy way of boosting protein. So if I need to get really high protein, I might have 2 scoops of whey with milk or water, or blend it with some frozen berries if I'm feeling a bit smooth or smoothie. Or like today, it was just one of those grab and go ones from the fridge. 35 grams of protein, or 50 grams if you're using the 2 scoops. Just grab and go easy. It's not even really a meal. It's more of like a post-workout, because I normally work out around lunchtime. So that's normally the second thing that I consume. But if you're talking like an actual meal, it's normally going to be something like a chicken wrap. So I like to get chicken breast. I'll chop it into little cubes, marinate it with Nando sauce, pan fry it with 1 calorie spray, and then we'll chuck it into a low fat, low carb, high protein tortilla. This way the meal is relatively low carb. You get 10 grams of protein from the tortilla, and then depending on how much chicken you use, it's going to be 30 to 60 grams of protein if it's 1 or 2 chicken breasts. So you're talking 60 to 70 grams of protein for this meal, and you're only getting what, 25, 35 grams of carbs. Not that carbs are bad, but obviously we want protein within a limited amount of calories, so carbs have to be a little bit lower than usual. That's normally my go-to actual meal as meal number 2. And if you're looking at this already, you can add up that the breakfast is on average 35 grams of protein. Then you got the chicken wrap, which is going to be around 50, 60, 70 grams of protein, depending on if you're using high protein tortillas or how much chicken you're putting in. And obviously you've got the protein shake as well. So we're already clearing 100 grams of protein plus from these 3 little things, or technically 2, because the protein shake is normally with the chicken wrap. And a fun fact about protein, your body burns more calories to process it. So net calories is lower than other foods, but that's so miscellaneous, I wouldn't worry about that. But this is how I'm getting my protein in whilst keeping the calories really low without having to think about it. I can batch create the chicken and make things a lot easier for myself. I can prep them in a tortilla, wrap them in tin foil, and take them if I need to go somewhere. So it's easy to plan ahead with it and be flexible with it. And then that brings us on to dinner, the main meat and potatoes, no pun intended. Now, I'll be honest with you, this meal is a little bit more freedom. A little bit more freedom, a little bit more flexible. And I don't mean flexible as in I'm calling it Papa John's. I mean flexible as in I will swap this out quite often, because that's the main meal that needs to be a bit more exciting. But there are a few go-tos that I tend to focus on. My main and first go-to is the classic bolognese. And the best way to make bolognese macro-friendly is to go for the low-fat minced meat. So if you're vegan, I like to give vegan options. I've got some vegan clients, okay? And you can do this as a vegan or vegetarian. You can use the Quorn mincemeat, or you can get like soy chunks. They're not the best, I'll be honest, but you can use a meat-free alternative, okay? There's always an option. But I will make a beef bolognese with low-fat ground beef with a bunch of tomatoes, or tomatoes, or tomatos, as people in Bristol say. So we put the tomatoes with the ground beef, we season it, we use low-fat beef, and then you can actually eat the bolognese without any pasta. If you think that's insane, you're probably right, but you could just go for that if you need to be super, super low carb. But I will often have it with a little bit of pasta or a little bit with spaghetti. Or there's this new thing I found, I'll probably put some B-roll of it over here, is this, I always get it wrong, yadami, some hippie pasta, right? It's green pasta that is high protein, high fiber, which is needed if you've got a high protein diet, but it's super low carb. So I sometimes pair it with this, and guess what? 1 serving of that is also 40 crazy grams of protein. So the beef bolognese with the high protein pasta, again, that's going to be like an 80 gram plus protein meal, to be honest with you. So you could just put it with regular pasta, then it's going to be a good 30, 40, 50 gram protein, depending on how much minced meat you use. But that is quite often my main go-to dinner meal. But again, I like to be flexible. Sometimes I will make more chicken and have it with like a bowl of ramen, or I could be really lazy and just chuck a bunch of chicken legs in the oven. So I can eat 4 of those straight out of the oven, because that's high protein, relatively low fat, and practically 0 carb. And it's one of the only chickens you can kind of prep and eat cold the next day, and it's not absolutely disgusting. Guess what I got for dinner today? 4 chicken legs. So that's often the dinner. You can be very flexible with it. You know, if you're getting your high protein at the start of the day, you're having some protein shakes in between your meals, and you're having a chicken wrap for lunch, it makes dinner a lot more flexible. But that is personally what I eat on a daily basis, because it works for my schedule, my appetite, my needs, but also hit my macros to lose body fat and keep muscle. So I wanted to make this video because the biggest question I get asked is, what food should I eat and how do you hit your calories, bro? Now, how can you do this? The easiest way to do that, and the reason I call this hybrid tracking, is I've planned my meals ahead of time and I will track them so I know exactly what numbers I'm hitting, so I'm making the progress I need. And then if I really get bored, because sticking to the same food for a long time can get boring and it's not long-term sustainable. So if you haven't got the results and summer's on the horizon and you need to be a bit more flexible, where you're tracking, you can swap meals out for different things. So let's say, for example, I'll use Tuesday that's just gone. Tuesday, mate, I took my sister out for a nice Korean and Japanese meal, which is obviously going to be quite high in carbs, fat, salt, and a bit of protein. So for days like that, I woke up, I fasted, I had my coffee, I had my water. Instead of having my eggs, I had half of my protein shake. I went to the gym, I had the other half. So by the time I got for this meal, I was already not too hungry because I drank my water, coffee, and had my protein shake. So I was somewhat managing my hunger. And I was able to go there and basically have a massive meal, which was probably about 1,800 calories all in, because there was rice, there was beef, there was salmon, there was weird sauces, and I had a cheese corn dog. Amazing. I even had a pint of cider. Hawkstone cider. Yes. Which is very nice, by the way. But I had all that. Let's call it 2,000 actually. With the cider, it was probably about 2,000 calories all in, and my target is 1,800. But I also did some steps. I did a workout that day, like I said, so I would have been in a deficit total for the day. Then I came home after that meal. I drank more water, more coffee, and I'm pretty sure I had another protein shake before bed just to make sure I hit my protein, because that meal was pretty low. So I was probably 400 calories over my target, which, if you want to get really technical, means I'm still 100 calorie deficit for the day. So I haven't ruined it. I've remained flexible. Plus, I did 200 calories of steps and I did a workout. So ultimately, I would have been on my calorie target. That's why I call it hybrid tracking, because it gives you the option to be flexible instead of hitting the screw that button and just throwing your toys out the pram. Because you're not going to be perfect. Everyone's looking for a diet they can stick to forever, and the reality is you're not going to. So you need to learn to figure out a baseline, like I've suggested, so it's easy and set and done. And when you need to be flexible and give yourself the option, you have that option so you can stay on track. So get your calories, work out what your target should be, and break it down to your schedule. If you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, break it down for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you like to snack, give yourself some room to snack. And then set the meals that you like, that you think you can fit in there. Just make sure they're high protein, low carb, and not taking the mick. Okay, it's kind of common sense. Or you can follow the exact meals that I suggested as well. I hope this video has been helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment the word Apple for the algorithm. And if you do want my one-to-one help to help you map out your food, map out your training, keep you accountable, and get you the same results that these chaps have had through accountability and coaching, you can book a call down below with me. Follow me on Instagram at Elite Transformation. Like and subscribe, watch this video. YouTube and things and all that. So yeah, just hopefully your diet's good. And if you want, comment below what you think your diet's going to be and let me know what you think it is, or tell me that eggs are bad and the cholesterol's too high, or I shouldn't have had the nice Korean food. It's up to you. You can say what you want in my comments. It's kind of free reign, isn't it?